Let's see. Donald Trump and crime. All right.
To fund the police Democrats have turned our once great cities into cesspools of bloodshed and crime. There's never been anything like it.
I saw your post,
Here's
IG.
my plan to restore law and order in our cities and throughout our country, frankly. First, because police forces have been gutted by Democrats' war on police, I will sign a record investment in hiring, retention, and training for police officers nationwide. So important. This bill will also
They actually need to do something like this. The police have been like vilified in like the last like 4 years. That morale is really low with a lot of like the cops. Like a lot of people don't really want to be police. I mean, who would? I wouldn't want to be a cop. I'm not really disrespecting police here, but I don't understand why anyone would want to be a cop, because before it was a pretty honorable job to be a police officer. But the culture has shifted in such that like a lot of people really look down on police. In fact, they actively hate the police. And you're talking about people, by the way, that go to work and they can be killed at any moment. You know what I mean? Like you could stop someone for a ticket and they could just shoot you in the face. And this has happened a lot. This isn't like a thing that's never happened. It happens like all the time.
increase vital liability protections for officers because the Democrats want to take those protections away from our police. We want them to do their jobs, and we want them to do their jobs right. You can't take their protections away if you're going to have them do their jobs properly. Second, to qualify for this new funding and all other Justice Department grants, I will insist that local jurisdictions return to proven common sense policing measures, such as stop and frisk. Very simple. You stop them and you frisk them. Strictly enforcing existing gun laws against convicted felons, cracking down on the open use of illegal drugs, and cooperating with ICE to get criminal aliens off our streets and get them out of our country. Third, we will go after the radical Marxist prosecutors who are abolishing cash bail, refusing to charge crimes, and surrendering our cities to violent criminals.
I don't know that much about the whole bail thing. Bail is a very interesting system.
They have surrendered like never before. I will direct the DOJ to open.
Well, I guess I could explain it for people that don't know, that are watching the video. Basically, like if you're taken in for a crime and you're going to go to trial, they basically charge. Thank you. That's the word I was thinking of. If you're charged with a crime and they take you in, you can get out of jail before, because normally they would hold you in jail, right? So like you commit a crime, they hold you in jail until your court date. Even though you're innocent, even though you're still technically innocent at the time, you're still considered innocent, but they have to keep you there so that you don't run, right? So what bail is, it's a system where you pay money as collateral, and then they say, okay, like you can go out and you're free to go until your court date, and then you have to report back to your court date. They don't give you the money unless you come back. So it's basically like, we're gonna take some money and hold it, and this is our guarantee that you will show up at court. That's what bail is, and it's usually based on the risk assessment of the person, how likely it is for them to run away. Yeah, it takes all of those things into account.
Civil rights investigations into radical left prosecutors' offices, such as those in Chicago, LA, and San Francisco, to determine whether they have illegally engaged in race-based enforcement of the law. I will also work with Congress to give the victims of their Marxist policies the right to sue local officials for harm and suffering, and it has been great that they have caused. If your small business is pillaged because shoplifting goes unpunished. Fourth, I will order the Department of Justice, or some people call it the Department of Injustice right now, and Homeland Security dismantle every gang, street
The Department of Injustice,
crew, and drug network in America. Every single one of them will be dismantled. We already know where these turf wars and drug dens are. We know who the people are. And we're going to charge them and charge the culprits with every crime that we can find. We're going to be fair, but we're going to be tough. We also need the death penalty for drug dealers.
Dude, he sounds like he's going like full Bukele, dude. That's crazy, actually. If you guys don't know about that, in El Salvador, correct me if I'm wrong, South Americans, El Salvador had like a huge crime problem, and then the new president guy came in and he fucked everyone up. He said, you know what, no more of this like this grab ass bullshit. Like, we're going in hard. We're gonna build a giga prison. Everyone's going to jail. Like, you fuck around, you're gonna find out. The crime went down like insanely. His approval rating is crazy high. Like, everyone loves this guy.
So important. And I'd add to that human traffickers, drug dealers and human traffickers, they get the death penalty. Watch it stop and stop quickly. Fifth, in cities where there has been
Dang, drug dealers, death penalty. You know what's scary about that, though? I feel like compared to a thing like murder, it's way easier to frame somebody for drug dealing. I'm not really against the death penalty personally, but like I feel like it's really easy to frame someone for drug dealing. So if you like have the death penalty for a crime that it's very easy to frame people in, then you're going to have a lot of innocent people being put to death. It would depend on how they implement it, right? Like there's ways that they could implement it that would minimize like the risk of like towards innocent people. Like, for example, if like you only went after like high level drug dealers, that like this person is very obviously a drug dealer, as long as like they had like the checks there in place, then like you could come up with a law that would work. But if they just said like all drug dealers, like that opens up a huge room for a lot of mistakes to happen, a lot of people getting framed, a lot of maliciousness can happen in that.
a complete breakdown of law and order, where the fundamental right of our citizens are being intolerably violated. I will not hesitate to send in federal assets until safety is restored. If Nancy Pelosi would have accepted our National Guard or our soldiers, you wouldn't have had January 6th. But she and the mayor of D.C. didn't do that. Sixth, we will end the leftist takeover of school discipline and juvenile justice. Many of these carjackers and criminals are 13, 14, and 15 years old. I will order the Education and Justice Departments to overhaul federal standards on disciplining minors, so when troubled youth are out in control, they're out on the streets and they're going wild, we will stop it. The consequences are swift, certain, and strong, and they will know that. Seventh, I will protect the right of self-defense everywhere it is under siege.
Let's go!
And I will sign concealed carry reciprocity.
Reciprocity? Hell yeah, I don't have to have my freaking California kit now. My freaking shitty non-lethal California kit.
Your Second Amendment does not end at the state line. In addition, I will, of course, fully secure the border, dramatically increase interior enforcement, and wage war on the cartels. We have never had a border so secure as it was just 2 years ago, and now our border is the worst anywhere in the world and possibly of all time. There's never been a country that allowed to happen what's happening in the United States right now, where millions of people are pouring across our borders. They come from mental institutions, they come from the prisons, they're all being let out so they can come into the United States. They're poisoning our country. We will also take back our streets from the homeless, the drug addicted, and the mentally ill. I will discuss those plans in much more detail very soon. That is how I will bring back public safety to America. I want to thank you. We're going to make America great again, and we're going to make America safe again. Thank you.
Nice. I mean, yeah. I think it's all pretty good. I mean, I told you the stuff I'm a little bit concerned with like the drug dealing, death penalty. And you know, if we could like 100% prove, like if we had like a way, like a minority report or like like some way, even minority report wasn't 100% obviously, but if we had a way where we could psychically like tell that a person was guaranteed a drug dealer, then fine, if you want to like have the death penalty for that. But anytime you want to add capital punishment to a crime, you have to consider the ability for that crime to be faked or to be framed, basically. Do I even want to click this, guys? This is the ultra spicy one to click on here. Do it.
Next time, baby.